I think it's two solid drafts. Both have great lineups available to play to their strength. It's all going to be about how well they actually do it and execution and preparation.
That's is what it always comes to, right? So, and thanks Josh Domestique for updating or for telling me about the on the overlay. I've actually updated it now to Andy versus SITAUX on my Twitch information. So thanks for that. And also what I need to do is load the games up. So I'm gonna open the save game folder and get these games in. Perfect. Replays. Main menu. There we go. All right. So I'm going to jump straight into game number 1 and spectate with CA. And let's go change the overlay here. All right. So we have Gurjara's Andy flank versus SITAUX Lithuanians. All right. Captain versus captain game 1, 14.
And straight out the gate with the Lithuanians, all in chaos play. It's going to see if Andy can manage to get this wall up in time. This will decide a lot about the game right here.
Oh boy.
Oh, perfect gate.
Perfect gate by Andy. This is actually not the best map for Lithuanians to be doing their shenanigans because it's relatively easy-ish to wall for Andy, I think.
Yeah. Let's slow down a little bit. Looks like there's also some action on the other side.
Oh yeah, there you go. So there's a Vil kill here by White Court. So Vil lost here. He's down a Vil and Jumjack able to get the forward wall, playing as Nolians into Burmese.
Lost a scout, but looks like managed to save his Vil.
Yeah.
Very nice. Over on the other side,
wall
looks like SITAUX's giving it up. Is just gonna stick with it. Andy going straight for the middle to stop him from going around.
Yeah. What is King Boo doing in the middle of the map? Here. Is he trying to sneak with Gott's pocket?
Maybe. I can't say that it's traditionally a good idea.
No, not really. So he's walling behind Andy's wall in the middle. So that's interesting, actually. And, yeah. Looks like the wall lines have been declared so far. And let's take a look at the pockets now. We have Pocket Goth with a lake and Pocket Koreans with no lake on this side for Anatov.
It's a very odd decision to send King Boo, who is farther away from this whole wall there. I guess what they're hoping to do is maybe set up for an Anatov castle drop play.
Castle drop.
That's the only thing I can think of that they would want to do.
Yeah, with the far wall here behind Andy's wall. That's interesting. All right. So looks like the Vil fighting is continuing on the left side here with Jumjack putting the pressure. Maybe trying to deny Burmese the lake here on the forward. Burmese honestly should have sent some more Vils here to secure this wall and secure the lake. That's a little bit of a mistake here by White Court, I think. Now, because of these walls up front, they are not going to be able to take the lake very safely. And,
Notably, Anatov from the other pocket came over here to help with the Vil war.
Yep.
Since they felt that there was nothing SITAUX could do. Let's see. It seems to be paying off pretty well.
So far, so good, yes. So let's fast forward a little bit here. And Dogao with the low HP scout. He's going to just go back home and lure deer for now. Ooh, Jumjack with the sneak. I like it. I like it a lot. He's going to hide in the corner here. I think so. And yeah, because Dogao is kind of busy pushing the boar, that sneak might actually do some decent damage, and he's gonna deny them the lake as well. Very, very good play here by Jumjack on the flank. I like it a lot.
This is the kind of strat that I think Team SITAUX will probably handle very well, like making the game as chaotic as possible,
right.
And that I don't know that Team Andy will be able to adapt to as readily.
Yeah.
But they have some very strong players, but particularly freaking Chris, who's got good late game, might have some trouble adapting to early game pressure.
Yeah, chaotic play. On the right side, we have SITAUX with the tower, no man-at-arm, no follow-up, but he has recovered the map a lot. And we are going for a second tower here. Yes, we are going towards the berries. And this is a lot of forward pressure here. I like it by SITAUX onto Andy's map, who is not up yet, but it should be up soon. And in the middle, Chris going for the long lure boars. And where is Jamjack sneak? Did we find him? Is he?
It looks like he may have been picked up either by a scout or by a...
Yeah, it looks like there's no more
wolf.
sneak anymore, by a wolf somehow. But I thought he had a King Boo scout who was tracking him, but I guess not. Anyway, we have a barracks down in the middle by Celts, and maybe going... Okay, he's going up at Blacksmith Market to... And super forward walls here by SITAUX, denying Andy 2 goals, actually, here in the front. So...
that's some unfortunate generation, especially if you let SITAUX through like that.
Yeah.
But I guess you can be glad you still got 2 back stones, you've got a back gold, so you can... Castle Drop or some Siege play might be able to get that back.
Exactly. Let me update the civs here and the teams here. So, there we go. All right, we're back. Okay, so Jamjack's still going to try and contest the water here and the lake. Meanwhile, Gots in the back is taking a nice little boom, and same with Anotov doing a free boom here in the corner. What do you do as Andy? You don't have any gold here at the moment, and you're just doing
you
stone.
do. Just off to the side there.
Yeah, off to the side.
You might,
and maybe you spell stone to get up. I don't know. Like he's going 3 on stone in the back over there.
Well, I think depends on what you expect the pockets to do.
Yeah.
So, for example, you might want to just straight boom with the towers on your face to maybe do a defensive workshop or some defensive monks in case you decides to stress the
so those
vision.
Jamjack villagers did actually end up making an archery range, which I can't find because of gray. Oh, there he is. He's in the back here. Got it. So there's the Sneakville is still alive. Yeah. He got a stable up and an archery range up, and he is attacking yellow in the back. So playing a little bit messy, but Dogao able to push it back with some knights, no problem. As the
Color gray strikes again.
Yep. And
it doesn't look like you'll get too much done trying to split between the sneak and the
lake
water aggression at the same time.
Yeah, so he's just going to have to wall here and defend himself because he is going to stay in the feudal age for a long time. Meanwhile, on the other side here, we have Chris with the banging up defense to help his flank here, and his older brother, or younger brother, Andy, win back the wall. And that should put Anotov in a position to be way ahead of Chris in terms of the villager counts.
Yep, about 12 ahead, and Goths is actually ahead of Khmer now, which is not great. Thankfully, thanks mostly in part to his lake.
Yeah, exactly. So the lake actually makes a big difference on this side, and the fact that they denied the early lake from Burmese on the flank too is an important point. So Lithuanians throwing up a castle on the forward, denying Andy that main gold and this other gold as well for quite a lot longer than Andy would have probably liked to. Well, it's not just a castle.
Looks like he's going fast imp. He's
right.
up already, and presumably we'll start seeing some monasteries being added very shortly.
Correct, and then this also sets up the Korean here for Halbeso play, and it's a pretty powerful combo as we've seen in lots of other Black Forest games in the in previous tournaments. How did the first set end? We had a 3-2 win for Team Velez. And so they are now into the next stage, which they will play Team Slam potentially tomorrow. I will let you guys know how that set progresses in the scheduling. Let me fast forward a little bit more.
Yeah. All right. Monk Tech starting to come in for SITAUX. Let's see. SITAUX not necessarily a world-renowned monk player like some of the other captains in this tournament, but of course It's got excellent micro, excellent APM, so we'll see how.
Yep. And it looks like Anatov deciding not to join SITAUX or I guess they'll meet here maybe. In the
maybe I mean taking the opportunity for Boo's extremely forward walls to finally come into effect. They didn't really do much with those in the mid game.
Yep. So it looks like the castle for Gots is gonna go up here as well, and there's the first trap and a few monks in for SITAUX. SITAUX's team seems to be in a pretty good position here to try and do some damage, but Knights from Khmer are in, and they may actually be slowing the production here by Goth in a meaningful way.
What timing? Let's see.
Let's see.
It's only 3 of them. They might get the mangonels, but I doubt they're able to clean up this forward at all.
Yeah, but the mangonels are crucial for the cut, though, so let's see.
Let's see.
Koreans is up. Onager has been teched, and we're housed at 118, 120 pop. So 2 TCs down from Andy. Monk's doing a lot of work, and Andy's looking in a lot of trouble here on this side. He's lost his base completely, no support, and Goth's gonna come in with halberdiers as well, pikemen. And looks like poor execution here from Team Andy. No defense, no one's made anything to stop the monks. We do see some Sri Vamsha riders being made in the back here. And in the meanwhile, Jamjak playing the role of Hyper Waller to allow his team to play all together on the other side.
Yeah. This is sort of a good example of what I was talking about. The game was made very chaotic, and a lot of Andy's players just did not hold up to the task. Dugal, thankfully, is back up to similar pops to the other pockets, but is still not Imperial Age at 31 minutes, which is not great. So Jean-Jacques' sneak definitely paid off.
I agree. And so we're going to Elite Battle Ballista Elephants from Dogal, which does take a little bit of time to mass up. And in the meanwhile, Andy still has 84 villagers, by the way. Still ahead of SITAUX, but has no more map control left anymore. And this is the point where you want your Halb SO player to come in and have a wall of halberdiers so that the monks just don't get eaten alive here. And this is a little bit of a misplay, I think, from Team SITAUX, not being together, going with the monk rusher, and instead having to cut when this map has been left open here by SITAUX. But looks like they're going straight to Khmer with this, with the Halb SO and BBC play on the middle to the left side here. Burmese going infantry, obviously, to counter the Goth spam. And let's see if they can do a book pushback here.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I guess SITAUX either believes in his ability to be able to clean up Chris without any help.
Yeah, because the Wodes...
They definitely have the opportunity to completely smash the freaking brothers.
Yes.
And make sure they would never get back in the game.
Yes, this is true. So Wodes, having cleaned up all of the monks in short order here with the help of the Sri Vamsha riders, and that monk push has been stalled and completely been pushed back. Question is, all right, we have some halberdiers here now from Anatov. Again, not in front of the monks because their push is going to be here. Ballista elephants and castles are going to just eat up these halberdiers alive. No shot here for Goths to make any sort of contribution. And bombard cannons are busy on Burmese castles. So quite a tight set so far. Quite a tight game so far. SITAUX losing his monk position fully on the front, and Celts now completely boomed with Wodes to help out his younger brother. Now the Koreans having to switch to hand cannon is suboptimal. I do not like this tech switch late game into Anatovs. I just think that rather than going to Khmer, if they just all consolidated together, would have been so good because they had the forward position, they had the walls, but they let the fast imp monk player all alone. And I don't know, I just don't like that play here by Team SITAUX in game 1.
Absolutely crucial. Yeah, I think ultimately you're right that SITAUX's team had a huge advantage. Like I think they're still comfortably in the lead here, but they had a chance to end the game that they didn't take because they were. I think this is something very easy to do and something I've been greedy of been guilty of making greedy calls before. You're like, oh, okay, well, we're winning this side really hard. If I just go,
let's push
I
the
kill
middle
the pocket, guarantee the win, and then like, oh, you take too long, and suddenly they're back in the game in a way that they should not be.
Yeah, see, now the hand cannon switch has now forced him to not get SO, which is gonna stall the push even harder. Like, Korean SO with halberdiers is all you needed here, rather than making hand cannon. I'm not sure what the hand cannon... I get it that it's against the Burmese player, but that's what you leave the Goth player to do, right?
Yeah. It does look like SO is in. He just does not have many numbers, and
field,
there's some very nice BBC micro from White Court. It's gotten some good picks off on Anatov's BBCs and SO so far.
Yeah.
Hiding behind the mass of ballistas.
Yeah. So now that you haven't pushed back Andy's base, and Andy's going to come back and recover his whole base here, now where do you go from here? Looks like SITAUX is doubling down on his monk play, and still at 62 villagers. He's staying at 1 TC, or actually no, he's added another TC in the back here. So he's going to slowly start eco.
Resources on the team?
Yes, let's check the res. Here we go.
So you can see SITAUX doubling down on the monk play. He really doesn't have much else. Definitely no eco. This would be, for example, Anatov should probably, since his hump is so wood heavy, should be slinging extra food as much as possible to SITAUX to help get him back in the game.
Yeah. And looks like they were unable to capitalize on beating back the Khmer, and the Khmer massing a amazing 43 elite ballista elephants with upgrades. Well, not with all the upgrades, but you know, this is going to be very hard for them to now continue pushing back. Meanwhile, Jomjak with the 1 trap push on the left side doesn't look really threatening so far, but he is adding a monk and some traps. It looks like Team SITAUX is playing individual games here. On the flanks, they're playing separately, and in the middle, they're playing like together versus the pockets. But it's lacked a little bit of a cohesive strategy, in my opinion.
It does look like Boo is now pushing in towards freaking Chris. Finally,
there you go. Finally, there's
we're seeing some pressure applied on the Celts.
Yeah. But I think it's a little bit too late. This should have been where the first cut would have been, right? Because the monks were here. They were hiding the castles and the walls, and if the Goth had just come there in the middle together with SITAUX, it would have been a much different outcome, I believe, for Team SITAUX.
Well, it's hard to say if it's too late. It's very difficult for ballistas to chase around armies like this, and Chris's army is only consisting currently of about 30 Woad Raiders, which is not going to be enough to clean up Goth spam. Not without any siege supporting it, and Andy's only able to currently supply light cav to help.
Light cav, yeah.
This is just a further testament to if they had opened in this location earlier.
Yeah, how
this
much
game could have been
over.
Yeah, it does look like Dogao's going to try and take the opportunity to start cleaning up the middle here, force them back, but it's going to be difficult with Korean on SO. It's one of the best SO to help deal with ballistas.
That's right, and looks like on the left side, Jomjak has pushed into White Court space with some BBC and monks. And he may actually do a decent amount of damage here, since White Court is busy in the middle.
Finally, we're getting some good SO numbers from the Koreans player. 15, 1 shot from that. We're just going to have to keep an eye out for if we get a nice bada boom. But, I mean, there's still 4 to 6 BBC, looks like, from the Burmese player right there. So
yeah. It's going to be tough to get those like the bada booms, and Koreans adding some skirms to fight in the mix here. Big shots on the ballistas so far.
Skirms, really?
Yeah, I saw a skirmisher once. Maybe it was a misclick, but I definitely saw a skirmisher from Koreans, which is tough.
Big shots on the ballistas. There we go.
I don't like that by Dogao. He was behind the BBC. Should have been, and then the champions too aren't a good match for Korean SO with their no minimum range. The only fight to this is long range BBC, and that's what they're trying to mass up. Oof. And we get another shot off. Yup, big shots here by the SO against the BBC and the ballistas. And on the right side, the light cav going in. Not able to get back SITAUX. SITAUX able to hold this 2v1 quite strongly here.
Feels really bad to be SITAUX in this situation. Still has very little eco, and again, Anatol floating about 3,000 food.
3,000 food, and with not
that could make a huge difference for his captain. So there's there's not communication about who needs what resource going around right now.
There's a lot going on in the game, so I can completely understand when you don't see it, because we have the benefit of seeing the entire map and all the res for all the players. It would be cool to have a mod that shows all the res of your team, right?
It might be a little too broken. Yes.
It might be too broken.
If you could call those players that like to hoard 15,000 resources for themselves, might be a little too strong.
So the
Jamjak getting cleaned up here.
Yeah, full champion pike clean up here by the Malians. Oh, sorry, Burmese, and that push has been slowed down, but he has lost a decent amount of eco here. White Court. It's down to 50 villagers, and Jamjak is completely popped, but unable to sustain the pressure here. God's push has been stopped again by Khmer, and looks like we're kind of in a stable position on all flanks to where the battle has been stabilized. Quite an even game right now.
A testament to how well Team SITAUX set themselves up for success, that they have been playing essentially 3v4 for the last 15 minutes and still are in a great position. Looks like Andy's preparing to try and wipe SITAUX. This really important wall here, but only 2 villagers.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Doing it right now. A little scary. I also noticed that SITAUX has put all his Lith relics in a forward monastery, which may come to bite him in a minute.
4 in the forward monastery. The Hussars going in. And SITAUX isolated fighting. God's able to push back all the ballistas in the back here, and maybe they're going for another push down the middle here, while SITAUX having to hold with the ladies against Hussar. Koreans adding some towers for defense.
Still shred, but there's just so much more Hussar than there is latest. But look at that, they're melting.
Yeah, they're just all melting, and even against the camels too. They're just doing a great job here.
Well, I think the secret MVPs are about the 4 or 5 halbs that are secretly hiding.
That's secretly hiding here.
Middle horses.
Yep. That's really nice. So SITAUX able to push back here on Andy, and meanwhile, King Boo going down the middle against an absent Khmer, who can now push down the middle again with the SOs coming behind. So Burmese seems to have gotten redemption, and Koreans don't have heresy yet, so they are doing the monk play and pushing it back. And on the right,
Koreans don't get heresy.
Koreans don't get heresy.
You get faith.
Right.
Which will still do the job in most situations, but impossible to completely shut down.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like latest halb should do the trick to hold versus Andy. This is sort of one of the situations where Gajaras can feel really powerless. You know, you're still getting back into the game, don't have much gold, so all you can offer is cheap Hussar that don't even have Blast Furnace.
Yeah.
Which against any sort of good number of halbs or power unit, I feel like you're just throwing food into the meat grinder.
Alright, so big ploy by SOs. Oh no, but the Woads eating up 5 of the SOs. Oh, 5 SOs down in the middle, and so that was a very good play by Chris. Good army control despite the no minimum range, and it's a very tight match on both fronts.
Chris has really good resources. I'm surprised he's only got such a small army. I guess he's having trouble keeping production up with only a few castles.
Yep. And he doesn't have SO of his own either. He's just going Woad so far.
Woads are quite nice, just very expensive, which makes them hard to keep up.
In big numbers, yeah. Now
this is in a particular game where they should shine.
The Ballista Elephants going in on the right side to try and counter the halb push here by Lithuanians will be huge.
Hard to call it a push. There's not There's not that
There's
many
not
halbs
much
right
going.
now.
Yeah.
Again, like look at if you take a quick look at the team's resources. SITAUX has only got 20 on food.
Yep.
While his teammates are floating a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Again,
and would have been able to get him to pop.
This is where the Jimmy's skill at asking for resources comes in very handy.
Absolutely.
I need food right now, or the game is over.
Really close match here in the first game. Both teams pulling back the advantage.
I think Andy did a really great job of rebooming here and massing army. It's just a shame. Doesn't really have a good army to...
Yeah, to fight this army. As the
fight
Yaras.
There's still a whole giant gold pile in between their two bases.
Yeah, which is basically going to be contested forever. I don't know if that will ever be taken at this point.
Well, I think if it ever does get taken, it will be pretty decisive for the game, because that's a huge amount of resources to get at this late a game without
10 gold piles, approximately 800 each, so almost like 6,000 res, I would say.
I think you can see it on the...
Oh yeah, almost 6,000. So there you go.
Yeah.
Who's taking that res that it's going down? Oh, it's all this gold on the left.
Those three,
Yeah. All right, so the Ballista Elephants hugely helping Andy on the right side here, and a cut from Chris to push this back. This is looking dangerous here for Team SITAUX with this giant push down the right side, but then they must have had to give a positional sacrifice somewhere. Yeah, so there's the positional sacrifice here in the middle against the Burmese castles and the Khmer castles. Now, if you can get good inroads into Khmer castles, they don't make ballistas anymore, and without that, they're pretty useless in the game. But can you get this ball of ballistas?
Looking pretty even, mainly in favor of Team SITAUX, it looks like right now.
SITAUX started trade early. Korean towers are going to be tough to push, and the Ballista Elephants, if they can just sit and camp on the trade, that would dwindle the trade advantage here versus Team Andy.
This is got to be the most frustrating feeling, where you know you have such a great position on the map, but you feel like you're just smacking your head against the wall for 20 minutes straight. If we can take a look at what's going on with Jamjak.
Yeah, the Jamjak fighting here with the Burmese. Where is Jamjak going to fight? I think he switched to Cavalier at some point, yeah. He's got one Cavalier inside. Yeah.
Malians could do a little bit of everything.
But not a...
Looks like they've been trading castles back and forth on the hill.
Yeah, looks like it. But Malians are good at, like... It's just that they're just half-assed good at a bunch of different things, right? Yeah. Like, they get SO, but they don't have Siege Engineers. They get Cavalier, but they don't get Paladin. It's Hornba Cavalier, though. They get Champions, though, but, again, not the best champions of the game. So it's like a jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Gunpowder is probably the right choice. If you're fighting mainly against Burmese, Gunpowder is probably right the choice. And then maybe some cav in front to protect against any hussars that come in.
All right, so they've pushed this back completely against the Khmer, and Khmer with his 18 ballistas are going to fight in the middle here, but without Celt SO, Korean SO is going to look very difficult. So let me go back to the res counts here. Yeah, without the Celt SO, Korean SO is really dangerous here by Anotov, and might be the late game Civ win potentially. Looks like Burmese has been cleaned out again with the God spam in. So
we've got Mulligan SO out again. Jack of all trades, master of none. No SC.
Yeah.
Siege onagers. I guess that's enough to get some nice shots on the
Burmese.
And
yeah. The other thing is the trade line for Team Andy is really short, right? They have to just trade here from both pocket spaces, so it's not optimal. Whereas SITAUX's team not only has the higher trade numbers, they have the longer trade route. And looks like each cart is taking back 115, 113 gold. So SITAUX team is looking at a gold and resource advantage, if not necessarily a map advantage. And I think their gold advantage is slowly converting into a map advantage too, because on the left side, they've gained all this map, and they are pushing the middle as well.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time for Team SITAUX to take this game at this point.
Yeah.
They've got the majority of the map, they've got better trade.
And arguably slightly better civs.
Back in the game with 133 eco units. Yeah, I think you called it straight away that this game probably would have been over 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but, if they all fought together.
Despite the bad call, Team SITAUX managed to hold it together and press on for the win.
How long was the longest BF game in the tournament so far? That's a great question. I believe there was one that ran almost 2 hours, right? In game time. I'm failing to remember which one it was, but there was one game that went almost 2 hours. It was like a slugfest, and there's the GG being called, and that is the end
GG call.
Game 1. Very well played, Team SITAUX. Again, like we said, you know, could have been ended faster, but eventually got the win anyway. All right, let's jump straight into game number 2.
All right. I'm at the step away for 5 minutes here, Williams, while I take a call.
Sure.
And I'll be right back.
Viper game, Marv had Turks and Wall the top side. I think that was right. So Drebasti, you're right. I think that was the game that went up to almost 2 hours. So, all right, let's see the game setup here. SITAUX, we have Portuguese into Italians on the flanks. Very cool. Both castle drop civs, both able to fast amp. It just matters who can get that fast amp faster. And it is on the other side, we have Andy with Japanese flank into Hindustani's flank versus Jamjak here. So let's fast forward here. Andy should be able to get that wall easily, no problem, no will fighting. Some engagements here, but I don't think the white court will contest. And SITAUX getting a pretty good forward wall for his organ guns and castle age. So I really like this wall here by SITAUX on the forward. And let's see if they just kind of opening down the middle. Oh, wait a minute. Here's some nice Vil fighting going on here. Let's check it out. Who's going to lose a Vil? Nobody yet. Got a Vil down from Jamjak. So we got just the 1 kill down on Jamjak and some idle TC time as well. So good job there by Andy. Walls drawn up in the middle as well, so we are safe by white court. SITAUX trying to continue to smash the walls, but he's going to give up over there. Meanwhile, Japanese with a lake is going to be OP in the late game. He's got some good walls, Andy does, on the 3 sets of different flanks, but it just depends where the organs are going to push. And my guess is that SITAUX is going to try and push organs here so he can hit both the flank and, both pockets from this position. So that is going to be my guess. And he can also deny the lake. So let's see how this game progresses. We've got a lot of lakes going on here. So it looks like we have a 2-2 lake situation. Oh, okay. So it's just 2-2. Just kind of seemed like a lot.
Yeah. One super safe lake. Hi, I'm back. Yeah. One super safe lake for King Boo, and the other 2 quite close to tunnels, which could prove dangerous, especially the one next to the Portuguese flank.
Yes, so I like this aggression by white court recovering the map, because if he had continued to let this map go idle, like this map would have been very bad for getting organ dropped, right? In the middle, you can get both pockets and the lake. So this is good aggression here by white court, making another tower and pushing that potential castle drop back from SITAUX. And also on this flank, so there's double tower rush here by white court. I really like this. Really, really like
this
by
is
White Court.
quite well done. Now SITAUX doesn't have any forward wall.
Yep.
I think the middle wall is probably still the best one to go for.
Yep.
But it's going to be very awkward.
Yep. So SITAUX up to castle now, or in a bit, and let's check on the res here. All right, he should be able to put up a castle soon, but that third tower from
All right, looks like castle's going down in the middle, and White Court's going in.
Yeah, so White Court's going in, but not sure he has no army to go in with. So let's see.
I guess he'll just try and make it as difficult as possible for SITAUX to focus. I mean, notably, White Court is feudal age, and it's going to be a long way away from going up the castle.
Yeah, it's true.
Actually, I just said that's not true at all. He's quite close since he's Italians.
That's right. He's Italians, and he's going to be able to click up soon. I don't know if he has up buildings yet, but I think he does. Now he's going to click up, and there's another tower here on the gold. So putting the pressure on SITAUX, and SITAUX is facing a wall of tunnels here, and going to try and win this as fast as possible, this wall. But there's an other wall behind by Andy, behind this wall of stone layer. So this is going to be very tough for him to stop, and we're going with full organs, deciding to abandon this push and instead defend his base against the forward tower here. Meanwhile, Andy on the left side defending it versus a mango play by Jumjak. And looks like Andy's going to be having to force to wall the entire map and protect his lake. And Andy looking like a university taking into fortified wall. He knows that in the late game, if he can hold back Hindustanis, he has a positional advantage there.
Not ideal, but I mean, when you're Japan and you've got lakes,
yep.
I mean, you can kind of afford to get away with a little bit of non-ideal play like this.
Right. And so far, Dogao, with a free boom pocket Mongols, didn't take the lake, though, which is fine, because Japan now has 2 lakes. And that could be potentially pretty dangerous here.
No one at ideal pops, but it looks like King Boo is doing quite nicely. With 105 villagers, minute 23:40. It's going to be hard to... Dravidians is a very popular Halbaso alternative pick going on in the tournament right now. But
yeah.
Against a civ like Mongols might prove to be... prove a little weak.
Definitely.
Well, we shall see.
Very few civs are strong versus the Mongols, to be fair. But like a fully boomed Mongol pocket in the hands of a guy like Dogao is danger.
No.
And like the chat is saying, Dogao with Mongols definitely sounds scary, and Mongols Italians could be a pretty interesting combo too, right? So.
Right. For your question, Leidson, Japanese as pocket can be really nice in a lobby game. Generally not super strong in a tournament game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, their late imp army composition is very difficult to stop. Once you have like complete boom and the full res, it's like with their Trebs, Kata Peruto, and and the Yasama tech. It's tough. Onager,
well, I don't know if
Yasama.
Heard, but I'm quite the big fan of that particular death ball. It's one of my favorite in the game to play. It's also one of the strongest.
Yeah.
But it's not invincible, and particularly when you're facing the kind of civs that you might in a game, it's a bit of a gamble to say that you're going to get the correct map and lineup to really make it work. So most teams do not make that choice, especially when they have such solid flank options, and you don't necessarily need a full boom pocket play to still get out, 40 halbs and 1 or 2 trebs, which sometimes all you need to swing the game in your favor.
All right, so Team Andy looks like they've set it up pretty well with the walls here, denying the early aggression from Team SITAUX. SITAUX is imping now with 55 villagers, fast imp, but he's going to be, again, faced against a massive tunnel of walls here by Italians. Not sure if he's going to get anywhere further. Here comes the cut by the Dravidian player. Will it be fast enough is the question, and where is he exactly going to cut to into Mongols, which will eat up the onagers and the halbs in no problem. Dogao fully boomed 127 pop and has Elite Mango Dye teching in right now. And slowly adding his Mango Dye mass. Looking very good so far for Team Andy, I think.
Going straight for Andy, which is an odd choice to me. Again, they're kind of deciding to... Well, I guess at least this time they're striking on the flank rather than through the middle. But it's hard to say what exactly they'll accomplish here. It looks like Anatov is coming in to try and raid. There are no Trebs or BBC coming in from Boo, so they're going to have a difficult time.
Yeah. Oh, nice quick walls by Andy. And can he stop the Onagers here? No, he's not focused on the Onagers just yet. But again, we have Chris with the Cavalier himself. Full Paladin in by Anatov, minute 31. With upgrades too.
Not having the Halbs there is quite a crucial mistake. You can see they're very slowly making their way. It looks like they may have been clicked in while also selecting the Onager and a Siege Tower.
Yeah.
We've got a Siege Tower coming to save the day. That must have been a misclick as well.
A little bit of a misclick for sure by King Boo here, not having the Halbs into the push. And again, no Siege to push this back either, so it's going to be a hard time to push anything here with this army comp.
Yeah. Only 30 Mango Dye.
Dogao just picking off everything. Picking off these easy Halbs, picking off literally everything. No problem. And fourth castle going up for Mongols in the back here. White Core doing a great job with the defense here. SITAUX is basically being rendered useless. He's adding a couple Fetorias in the back. Or no, that's a Market.
Yeah. Market? He's gonna he does have there.
He does have Fetorias here, right here. Those glorious big buildings from the Portuguese Empire. And this is, again, looking very, very good here for Team Andy. Japanese Trebs out on the walls here against Hindustanis. And if they reverse push this back, I don't think that Team SITAUX has anything much to defend here outside of that one castle from Dravidians.
Looks like Freaking Chris is having a hard time matching Anatov's boom and army numbers. We currently only got 14 paladins to 40 from Anatov, which is kind of helping keep SITAUX's team in that position, but still not, since it's only paladin and we don't have enough siege, it's not enough to really seal the deal.
Exactly.
Finally, we have a Treb coming out from Boo.
There we go.
And then Andy deciding to ignore the middle altogether, go and try and clean up Jean-Jacques.
Yeah.
Which it looks like he should be able to do. It looks like Jean-Jacques decided to go full monks of all things, so he's prepping something else now. He's got...
Andy going condos. Let's go.
Condos! Oh, no. I guess he's anticipating a... gunpowder play from Hindustanis, which you'd usually expect, but it looks like he's teching for Cav, so might end up being a big brain play here.
Laidzon Beitu. Laidzon Beitu. All right, that's how you say it. A little bit of a tough name, but I think we'll get it eventually. Especially if you come on voice, that will be very helpful one day. Laidzon Beitu. All right, so. Big Mango Dye numbers here by Dogao. 58 plus 15 in Q. I think that's pretty much all you need here with a few drill rams to continue pushing this back.
Looks like it. I was about to say no sign of any SO, but I guess Dogao's feeling confident that he doesn't need it.
Yeah.
It would help significantly to help clear it up, but
yeah, just a few onagers in the back.
Just looking at the difference in pop sizes. Here. I think I much prefer Team Andy's position going into this game. Again, we've got SITAUX's team is sort of banging their head in the middle.
Oof, big shot on this
and have a very difficult time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if you're in this position and you're on SITAUX's team, you want to just use those onagers and cut all those trees.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it into a completely open field.
Full open field, but that actually helps the Mongol player, in a way. So. with the mobility they have with the Mangodai, they can snipe Siege, you know, and this is Dravidian Siege we're talking about, right? No Siege Engineers. Like, it's just not the best Siege at all.
SITAUX coming in with some Bombard Towers now to help.
I love this wall by White Court. Full Italian fortified wall with a castle on the map, so they're just not taking any chances in this game. Securing their trade line from end to end. And yeah, Andy's team looking like in a really, really strong position. Now they're going to try and push this front and see if that works out for Team Andy. Meanwhile, the meat grinder here is the Mongols into Dravidians and Huns. And Huns are Huns, you know.
Yeah.
Not much Huns can contribute outside of Paladin, and like some select cuts that the Dravidian player has to initiate.
Honestly, this might be a situation where Elephant Archers would shine
big
quite a
shot
bit.
on those Mangodai.
Nice.
That was
shot.
a giant clump
Bada
there.
boom.
Big bada boom indeed. Now
Since
the only
Archer's biggest weakness is SO, and Dogao has very fastidiously refused to make any.
Yeah.
So they might actually do a fairly decent job here. Oh,
big
no,
shots on those Mangodai again. My goodness, we're down back to 46 Mangodai numbers. So some big shots here from Dravidian SO, King Boo with the huge bada booms, and Andy is in the middle finally with the Halp, Treb, and a few Paladin and Mangodai coming in too. This potentially might be the GG cut, actually.
We're seeing those camels that Jean-Jacques decided to tech into. Really not sure why.
Not sure why, yeah. Against Japanese
he hoped
Alps.
to be able to run down the Mangodai, but he's getting some great shots on those Trebs. He's picking them off one by one. Yeah, we get to experience your favorite thing to see in Black Forest, William. Just paladins running into Japanese Halps.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. Yeah. It's so
You
good.
love it so much.
I do indeed. I do indeed. Anatov getting surrounded by Japanese Halps, and look how they melt. Oh, just brutal. Brutal. Oh, that's a lot of Trebs by Japanese. A wall of Trebs. And we have Mangodai as well. Yeah. They're going to the damn hell here on this base. And this, I think, might be the GG cut here. What's being flared? I think SITAUX wants to try and push, but there's lots of Mangodai here as well to hold this back. And I'm not sure why Dogao's here. I don't think he needs to be. He needs to fight in the middle here with this cut and raid. But the good thing with Mangodai is they can be anywhere in the battlefield in a jiffy. With that fast mobility, husbandry, and
his numbers are a little low, but his resources are in a great spot.
yes. Lots of trade numbers too by Dogao. 18 trade cards out, and 19 out and 18 in queue, with a decent amount of gold in the bank. And these Frank or these Hun Paladin are not going to live too long here with these Japanese help, but they did clean up the siege quite a bit, actually.
They did their job.
They did their job. Oh, and this castle going down in under fire from a Treb. Yep, lost the castle.
Yeah. Dropping a castle right underneath Japanese Trebs is not always a good idea.
Yeah,
now, this is a rough position to be in for these two players, because if it was Paladin with gunpowder behind, it'd probably be in actually a very nice spot here.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they're now separated.
To go camels, yeah.
And Jean-Jacques decided to go camels, which is not exactly paying off. But a lot of army coming in from King Boo. Look at that. That's a lot of helps.
They knew that this is the cut that they needed to shut down. And here is another cut by Mongols. Can we see some big bada booms here by King Boo again? Oh no.
The single paladin is what's going to let these Mangodai in. Oh, feels bad.
Feels bad indeed. Can they pop out? There's one SO inside here. There's a pop out and there's a shot.
But
big,
gets a nice hit.
That's a big
hit.
It's
enough of those Mangodai were low HP.
Unbelievable. Now, despite the stabilization in the middle, I still feel like Andy's team has a pretty significant advantage here. Especially with the Civ combo too that they have here. And is Italians going to contribute something, or is it just a full trade sling game? Looks like it's a full trade sling game for Italians. 153 vills, 36 carts with 31 in queue. So it looks like it is going to be full sling by the damn court, the white court.
It's essentially a 3v3 with a cheerleader player kind of happening right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Italians contributing trade, and looks like Portuguese mostly going to be contributing BBC and BBT.
Yep. Okay, so SITAUX making slow but surely some inroads here into the map, and this is their trade line, so this is an interesting kind of a place to push here by SITAUX.
The problem is that the player that would probably do the best at raiding the trade, the Paladin player, his base is under pressure. He's going to have a very hard time capitalizing on SITAUX's push while also staying alive here. Looks like he is trying to fight in the middle right now. There's a little bit of skirmish going on with the Mangudai just below.
Oh yeah, just below
and
here.
And Chris is raiding him.
Yeah, it's the worst when you get rated as the Paladin player and all your guys on farms are dead suddenly. And your team doesn't have that much rest to sling you. Actually, wait, no, I take it back. Anatov with the Bank of Marbrez here to give to the Hun player. But wait, Anatov is the Hun player, my bad.
Anatov is the Hun player, yeah.
Never mind. So he doesn't mind losing a few farmers. But he is running very low on the Paladin numbers here. Because I believe he's out of gold.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see what exactly the win condition is here for Team SITAUX.
Yeah, me too.
They have to completely crush the push through the middle and just fight their way back slowly but surely through the map. It's not going to be easy though. And the single Mangudai gets 2 BBC there.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough push to push SITAUX's team back here, and Chris fully in. We got in again with some trebs from Japan, despite getting pushed back. And the camels I just don't like at all. Shatagni hand cannons are so much better here with the BBC back, you know?
Yeah. It would honestly be nice to see them cut through between Anatov and Jean-Jacques' base so that he can get hand cannons back and around behind Anatov's Paladin without going under fire of Andy's buildings. It looks like they are going to all three commit heavily to stopping this push and try and go back.
D and SO. Now, the question is, where is Mangudai? There it is. I think they're going to try and do a reverse cut here and get in, because we do see some 6 rams in the queue. I believe they're going to just try and kind of branch out from here for the Mangudai. This is really bad. Yeah, Andy needs to remove his walls, which he just did. There you go. Yeah. Samurai here in for Andy as well. That's very nice.
Andy can also, he's adding more trebs, which is good. Get a nice ball of 8 to 10 trebs and, you know, fire in 1 volley at a little massive SO coming in.
Yep.
You can get most of them, still pack up and get away before they reach you, especially if they don't have siege engineers.
Yeah, they don't have siege engineers, and you have Katapuruto trebs that pack in a jiffy. And the Yasama towers right there to clean up any of the remaining army. This is like a great push here by Andy, 2v1 into both these players. Meanwhile, where is Dogao with his Mangudai ball, and what is he up to? Okay, he looks like he's going to help Andy now, and they're just going to try and end the game here in the middle. I think that's
running down the length of the map. Also notably, he looks like he's teched Siege Ram, and he's also got 8 Siege Onagers out on the field. So it looks like he's going to start. Now, once the Mongol siege is here,
then it's
very difficult for them to do anything about it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Chris has done a pretty good job raiding both pockets. Dravidians and Huns have been raided to death here by Chris. Despite all of that, Anatov still sitting on 4,000 food. So only issue for them is gold right now, and that will always continue being an issue. Now we're finally taking into Shatagni hand cannons by Indians and BBC. for the army comp, but it might be a little bit late because Dogao is here now with Mangodai. And Mangodai will clean all of this army, no problem. The Albadias by Dravidians, the hand cannons by Indians, and the BBC as well. With Dogao here and the Paladin player here, this is looking like an impossible push back by Team SITAUX. So I think I'm going to call early GG perhaps here for Team Andy in game number 2.
Not to spoil it, but I think your early call is correct. Yeah, just look at the pop difference here.
Yeah, pop difference is massive. It's 100 different pop, and then also the civ difference. Like, there's... How do you stop this? Yasama, Mangodai, and Paladin.
Well, I think we're in a situation where, you know, the strongest player on Team SITAUX, who themselves again for a second game, sort of the one constantly on the back foot, not being able to do much to except just support his team, and the rest of his team not necessarily making the right calls. So bad decisions on locations to push and units to go.
Yep.
If the Mongol player had gotten sieged added into the game much sooner, this I think sort of similar to how Team SITAUX had an opportunity to win 20 minutes earlier last game. I think Team Andy had an opportunity to win 20 minutes earlier this game.
They had a lot more stuff, but instead he went for a big ball of Mangodai, which he lost in giant volleys to some SO shots there by King Boo.
No, siege engineers or no, SO are always scary. A lot of damage. Now we sort of have a reversal here. Chris showing off why he's a DM player, strong late game, great numbers, good trade, good eco balance.
Yep. And also, bear in mind, they have a slinging player with 87 trade cards and 100 bills. So it's just like a non-stop sling player going here, so that Andy can play 88 army, Mangodai can play 52 army, and Franks can play 60 army. So they're just getting full slung by Italians. And yet
honestly, they could probably delete more of their eco. It looks like White Clover's been doing a good job of sending gold as well as buying stone for the team.
Look at the gold numbers here.
Stone-heavy civs.
Yeah, just look at Mongol's res. 12k food, 12k wood, 5k food, and 5k gold. Like, he just doesn't need his own trade. There's the GG call. And what a brutality. Indians, again, weren't able to do anything here. And let's look at some trade sling stats here. Look at this. 15,000 sling to Mongols, but White Court with 18,000 sling total. And
it looks like Andy was also doing some slinging of his own as well.
Yeah.
While also keeping up that
army.
It's amazing what just the simple act of sending extra resources to your allies can do for a team.
Exactly. Cool. We have an interesting set now. Team SITAUX and Team Andy 1-1. And without further ado, let's jump straight into game number 3 here. All right. Flank Britons here into Berbers for Andy. Unfortunately for Andy, the Berber map is not that good, but look at the base for Britons. Wow. What a tiny little base.
This game will probably be brought to your attention a little bit, Williams, if you want to pause for a second and notice anything wrong about SITAUX's base.
Let me check. Oh, his berries are bugged.
Yes, unfortunately, it looks like the team did not notice until about 9-10 minutes into the game. So they just,
well, they're not really bugged, are they? They can walk around, but it's not ideal. It's bugged in the sense.
I think, it's not accessible reasonably. But unfortunately, the teams did not notice the bugged resources in time, so they continued. But I think this game will be a little topic of conversation.
Yeah, it looks like it might be. Because I think SITAUX was asking for admins to be just constantly there and to check for all this kind of bugged res. But it is up to the players ultimately to spot this type of stuff. But yes, they were doing fighting.
Having seen the result of this game, I would say it didn't help what the result was. But it certainly didn't decide it. I think there are a lot of other factors.
A lot of other factors. So goes into these types of things.
Well, thankfully, it looks like Sito managed to get a decent forward wall on the Berbers, which is always... Or not, excuse me, not on the Berbers. This is Britons versus Mayans.
Oh, sorry,
An
I thought it was
archer
Berbers.
matchup. Berbers is on the other side.
Berbers is here, yeah. So Berbers is still engaging in a will fight here versus Jamjak, who is the Saracenos.
This is the exact kind of situation that I'm sure Andy is very excited about.
Yeah.
Got a great Vil War Civ versus a player that's not necessarily a big
Like
Vil War himself.
And getting an
really
early
confident
advantage here against against the Saracen player. Down a Vil. And the third Vil comes in for Andy. And look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Fourth Vil coming in for Andy. So this is looking very messy already. And exactly where Andy wants to be with his civilization. Setting up his older brother, Chris, in the pocket for Sicilians. Other side pocket, we have Tatars and Mayans.
It looks like we got 2 versus 2, both fairly safe lakes. So when you've got Berber Vils inside like this, you can never be sure. Already, yep, the power walk-in is already starting.
Yeah.
It's time to explore the world. And Jamjak just letting them go.
Just letting him go, yeah. Not even following. He got the lame on the deers, and he's going to...
All right. Well, looks like King Boo is walling himself off. He might be a little late to wall.
Let's see.
Oh, just in time.
Oh, yeah, just in time there.
All right.
No, he's got a scout up, so he can see where he's going. So he's definitely tracking the Vils. And here's a Magyar Vil. Oh, wait a minute. What's happening here? White Court.
It looks like Sito and White Court.
Yeah, Sito, White Court getting a battle going on here. But, oh boy. White Court's up 2 Vils to Sito's 3 Vils down. And this is insane that Sito has only 17-minute idle TC time, but then White Court with the 46 second idle TC time.
Could we roll back a little bit just to quickly see what happened here?
Sure,
since we have 3 Vil kills.
Yeah, let's, this is quite significant. So here's 2 kills already. So down here maybe, so hang on 1 second. There. This is where we want to start seeing it from.
Yeah. So it looks like White Court wants a forward castle, a wall for a forward castle for Mayans. Very classic play. Sito, of course, wants to deny that. So that I'm sure that's what's going on here. Ooh. 1 hit from the scout. Eagle manages to get away. And...
there's the Sitoville down by Chris.
The snipe.
Clutch
MVP.
Kills here from Chris. There's another Vil kill. I think they might trap it. And Clutch.
So many weak Vils from White Court, but there's just too many of them. Sito can't hit back. Again with another snipe from Chris.
Yeah, it is.
Well played.
And then meanwhile, Andy's causing all sorts of chaos here with the Berber villagers into Anatov. Very messy play here by Team Andy. And more Mayan villagers trying to fight Britons, and the Britons is going in. I think this is around the time where they saw that he's out of berries, he's out of sheep and berries, and they had a pause to tell the admin. But yeah,
this is I think this is a good situation for Andy. Like team, both of these teams have very good flanks for kind of causing chaos. Andy and Sito, right? The captains are both excellent at it. And then it's about who can keep their pockets more untouched. In this case, it looks like Andy's going to do a lot to slow down Boo and Anatov, and let Dogal and Chris do their thing.
Yeah, Dogal, especially with the lake in the back. Tatar's not the most power civ, but then, in the hands of a guy like Dogal, they can be, pretty useful, especially if they are untouched completely.
Any Palace civ that's completely untouched and gets a chance to just follow up everyone else's messiness can do a lot of damage.
Oh, there's the dock. Getting in. Berberville getting in, and they are going to make the dock. That is not good at all. And there's another Berberville who is going to wall off the pockets from each other. And Andy doing Andy things again. Andy's up to middle age. Anatov will be up before him though, so I think he should be able to shut it down. But again, he's going to have to be forced to make his fishing ships there. And this unfortunate mill for Team SITAUX is very bad. But they're going to make the best of it. And in the meanwhile, Jamjack here should be putting some forward pressure on to Andy with a FC, probably Monk Mango play. Andy freely roaming around with two docks here on competing lakes.
Three docks.
Three docks. Oh my god. Yeah. Putting pressure on both pockets, or in this case the flank here with Jamjack. Very, very good play by Andy, I think, here.
Yeah. Andy has the forward walls, so looks like Chris is coming forward to wall for him.
Yep, that's a great play here by Team Andy. To wall forward.
Not if Andy doesn't get punished for this, and those walls will help make sure that he isn't. Yeah, I think I agree with what chat's saying. It looks like it's looking pretty GG already. 20 vills behind for Team SITAUX at minute 16.
Here's a tower by White Court to try to recover the map a little bit against Team SITAUX. And they have recovered, and then they're going to make another tower here, denying SITAUX the lumber camp and the forward. Can he get those walls up before in time? I don't think so. There's going to be a tower up. Oh, wait. No, he did get the walls up, and oof.
Just got away.
40 will lead here by Andy because both pockets untouched. Booming their life away and doing the dock shenanigans, and Andy winning the dock war versus Anotov, denying him the lake completely, denying Jamjack the lake. And this is an insanely good play here by Andy in game number 3. Crucial game 3 for the psychological 2-1 advantage here.
Yeah, these are some of the most frustrating games that you can experience as a Black Forest. But everything seems to be going wrong, one thing after another.
Yep.
And the vill difference is absolutely huge.
Huge vill difference here. 70 vills difference almost. So here comes the castle drop by the Britain player, and see if we can do anything with this though. But I think it's a little bit late because Anotov is being slowed down completely here. He's only at 45 vills to Dogao's 78 vills. So even if SITAUX does manage to get in, there's no follow-up from a strong, completely boomed pocket here in Magyar's.
I suppose he wants, he knows that the situation is desperate. He wants to make something crazy happen.
Yeah.
But Mayan walls are cheaper.
Yep.
The Britain longbows, unless you have a decent siege follow-up, they don't exactly have a good way to deal with towers.
Yep.
To the castle itself. And as you can see, this one tower, it killed 2 longbows basically for free.
For free.
And yep, there we go.
Yep.
There's another one, and what else is there to do now? Now all SITAUX can do is boom or try and go to imp, and he's dropped TC, so he's
dropped TC,
gonna go boom.
so he's gonna do a little bit of a boom here. That's just unfortunate. Yeah,
Meanwhile,
but I think the berries are less of a factor here. But okay, so Jamjack finally trying to push Andy, but Chris doing a great job with the walls to defend his younger brother here. And he's going to throw in a mangonel of his own, and he's got 89 pop. Meanwhile, Dogao with 106 villagers already up to the Imperial Age and building his first castle. I think he might be going UU. Let me check his upgrades. He hasn't clicked anything yet, but he is going UU, I think. Yeah, he's clicking scaled barding armor just right now, so that is the Keshik's play. And we will see a castle here by the Mayans to support with blooms, I believe. So things looking very, very good so far for Team Andy. Sicilians could even click Force Crusade and just kind of roll into Jamjack's base with that extra monk resistance on their sergeants. King Boob coming in here finally with the Bohemians, and Bohemians are looking to do potentially a Halb Hoof Nice play here.
Bohemians are one of the strongest civs on BF. If there's any civ that can somehow try and turn this around, it's going to be that one. So we'll have to see if King Boo is up to the task. He's got the deck stacked against him. Only a 50 vil difference currently. Yeah. But let's see.
Well, at this point, it's now about the map position, and yeah, let's see how we can make this work. 3 castles coming up for Tatars. Full Keshik queue. And where are we going to cut is the question. And raid. It looks like Team SITAUX is going to wall up everywhere. Maybe a little bit too late.
Can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a little too late.
Yeah.
Especially if he's only sending a few vills, which it looks like he is. I think to do that, he would need to send 20 right now.
Exactly.
Notably, White Court went imp to treb down SITAUX, keep him on the back foot, and that will let his pocket absolutely roll him. Looks like Jamjak is going imp to support the Bohemians with monks.
Alright, so here comes the onager from Chris, and he is going to try and cut in to SITAUX's base from where I'm not exactly sure. Looks like they might try and cut here, potentially, but we'll see. We'll see where they start cutting out. So there's the 2 trebs by the Mines player into SITAUX, who's still in castle. He's going to lose that castle. I don't think he cares much. He actually doesn't have a stone wall behind, to be fair.
Do we have any onagers coming out? That's the...
Yeah, there's a Sicilian onager here. And he is doing a cut down the middle. Yep, and SITAUX... Yeah, he's seeing that. They see it with the outpost here. Or no.
Again, not nearly enough villagers. No way is that wall.
Yeah, that wall is not going up. And that's a huge ball of Keshas here. 29. And where... And they're just going to go in. Again, we need a treb, though. Will they make a treb to push this as well? Or are we just going for the full raid?
I think they'll honestly be fine with that. The treb, at least for the moment. The question is, how quickly will Boo respond?
Yeah,
he's currently sitting in the middle.
Yeah, he is responding with a few halberdiers, but they just don't have the numbers, and the Keshos are way faster, so they're going to be able to raid both pockets here very easily. Boo and Anatov, no problem. And Anatov is behind in the numbers game here. He is 127 pop. No army. Where actually is his army? The 12 Cavaliers. Okay, they're going to keep chasing around here. All right. They are in the middle. See what they can do.
Looking pretty GG for Team SITAUX here.
Yeah, I think so,
if we can keep an eye on King Boo's push, see how they're doing.
Yeah, let's take a look down here. The Halb Hoofnice and Monks. Getting a few hand cannons in the mix as well by King Boo. But,
well, not Hoofnice just yet. Still BBC,
That's
and
true.
Doesn't look like the tech is in yet either. Does he have siege engineers?
He does not have siege engineers yet.
That is rough. Oh, looks like an onager just got a big shot on those BBC, and the camel archers coming to wipe up the monks. So I think that push is pretty...
big shot on the monks as well. Wow, good job by Chris there. Slowing down that push to a grinding halt. And meanwhile, the Camel Archers now defending here by Andy. And you're right, I think this game is written in the books already. The Magyar player getting raided to death here. And we have a non-stop stream of 61 Keshiks just streaming in with no end in sight.
Yeah, 56 Keshiks to 13 Cavalier. I mean, Cavalier ultimately... if you want to be a Paladin player and be Keshik, you need Paladin, and it's just not going to happen when your eco's been raided already half to death. I think... Yeah, I don't think there's any way back into this game for Team SITAUX.
There's the GG, and
there's
that has
GG
been called. Very well played, Team Andy. 2-1 advantage to Team SITAUX. And now SITAUX on the back foot with their Britain Bohemian pick and Saracens. They're going to be in a civilization kind of mismatch here for Game 4. Might have to go all in.
Definitely, probably a very psychologically damaging game.
Yeah.
That, you know, you've got... Already, you had such a rough Dark Age. You see the berries that didn't load correctly, and like, oh, what on earth can I do?
All right, so let's see what SITAUX's team did for their game number 4 civs. We got the Poles, Persian, Incas, and Ethiopians into Turks, Cumans, Vietnam, Slav. Arguably Team Andy with the better civs here to counter all of this stuff. And we have flank Andy Turks into flank Incas, with Jamjak. And on the other side, we're looking at SITAUX versus White Court, Poles into Vietnamese. see what SITAUX can do. I think he's just so far away from his flank, but looks like the pocket. This is like a pocket flank situation here.
Very unfortunate gem to get when you want to be when you've chosen a Vil War Civ and you want to make it as messy as possible.
To be fair, he is fighting two sets of villagers here, so the pocket and the flank.
And he is inside. The question is, can he do anything with it? He's sending more Vils forward, trying to secure. Oh, but Whitecourt gets the Vils walled in.
Yeah,
that's gotta feel so bad.
I know. Oh, he got the house
Jimmy
down.
Gate?
Jimmy Gate, indeed.
This time, Whitecourt anticipates the gate and is double walling straight away.
Yep. And so now, Pole's having to go back, and there's another Jimmy Gate.
Oh, but it goes down.
Back. Just walls back just in time. So.
Meanwhile, on the other side, looks like fairly simple.
Very simple walls here by both Jamjack and Andy.
Very nice walls to get as Turks
in this situation. Yeah, you want to try and go here probably with the castle drop and hit both pockets.
Well, honestly, you could go either, depending on what you want to do. And the fact that you could go either makes it
even stronger.
All the more frustrating because you're not entirely sure where you'll get hit.
Yeah, so now SITAUX wasting 5 villager time here with idle KC time as well. 33 seconds. He's just going to try and keep pushing further and further and further in for his pocket potentially to do something. I don't know, but the pocket's going up with Blacksmith Market. Not exactly sure what this pushing in for is here for.
Well, he is forcing quite a bit of resources out of Whitecourt, even if it's not as many Vils. Yeah. Certainly, if he's going to have Boo come forward and do some sort of siege play, to try and capitalize on all of these palisade walls.
Oh, but Whitecourt is up to feudal, and he is just going to wall back with a tower, denying him the lumber camp at least. Or is he denying the lumber camp? I don't think he's denying it quite yet. Should be behind. Oh, but I think now he has.
The bottom side.
Oh boy, here we go. Archers from Jamjack with into Andy's walls, but Andy is able to defend himself behind at his base. And looks
doing
like
what he can to slow down the Turks' play, but it does look like Andy is going to have the run of it still.
Yep. Let's check the res. Andy can click up soon here, and Jamjack is nowhere close. And even if he got the map here, he still has to deal with the map here. And meanwhile, the pocket coming in, Chris with a mangonel to push this back. That's actually huge. And unfortunately, Anatov has not contributed with any sort of defense here. So it looks like they are going to be able to push this back, potentially, while Andy is halfway up to Castle Age.
Now the question is going to be, where does Andy want to drop that castle?
Yeah, is it going to be here, or is it going to be here? It depends on how much map they get back, right? So it looks like Jamjack is denying him that walls, and it looks like it's going to be on the left side, which I like a lot as well. So let's go, Andy.
Especially since Jamjack is still going to be feudal when those Janissaries are in. Can do a lot of damage and clean up that base.
He's going to have to stonewall this kind of area a little bit, hopefully
protect all his gold and stone is forward too. Very unfortunate.
Very, very unfortunate. But his main goal at least is kind of safe-ish.
At least, yes.
Yeah. Oh, the archers stopped the mangonel push, and they are in now to Andy's base. So Andy having to do some panic TCing here. And Chris with...
Nice predict on the split from Chris there. Got a bunch of archers.
This mangonel should have been there a little bit earlier, I feel like. That could have actually even prevented Andy from doing a castle drop, potentially. At least on the other
It does look like on the other side... SITAUX is got a mangonel up, but he's just going to be hitting walls. Whitecourt doing a great job of just
with the walling.
Smacking the walls down.
Oh boy, but Anatov... sorry, not Anatov. Jamjack getting some eco kills here. Eco losses, potentially. He is up to castle now.
Oh, there's a hole by the market. That's an
that is a hole in the market.
Rushing up a top as he can, and it looks like Anatov is making galleys.
To defend in his base. All we needed was a stone wall and a couple mangonels here, potentially from Anatov, to help stop the Turkish castle drop, but that was not the case. Andy is in, and we will have like some fish losses here as he goes around the lake and cleans up Anotov's boom completely from his lake. As the Persians with docks, it feels really bad. Let's see if these archers can do much. I don't know if they can. They're just Middle Age archers with Bodkin now. Okay.
Yeah. But without the expo range and damage, they're not going to do nearly as well.
No, they're just going to melt
In fact,
here.
Looks like, yep, losing them all. Now, this is similar to last game, looking really good for Team FREAKINANDY. Although I'm looking at the pops right now, and surprisingly, Team SITAUX is in the lead. Very strong boom from Boo and Anatov.
Yep.
Considering, well, delayed booms, but
and
in comparison.
Humans had a lake and a TC. I guess he is up already to Imperial Age with 110 builds. He's going to make the Cavalier upgrade and should be in a position to carry this side here.
The question is, where is he going to go? I do see a couple yellow dots starting to run across the map.
Yeah, he might actually come here because it's all open, right? He doesn't have to open anything, and White Court just doing a full wall job here. Things not looking so good here for Team SITAUX. Fortified wall, and looks like Boo would have to play here with the Halbeso.
Looks like similar to the Mongols game, we're going to have White Court and SITAUX kind of sitting red and blue against each other's walls while it's a 3v3 on the other side.
Yep. And looks like Ethiopians has decided to push down in the middle with Anatov, but the cavalry has arrived from Dogao and should be able to clean, at least push back.
Halbs and only a few of them.
Yeah, just a few.
Looks like he's deciding to go and try and finish up as much of Jamjak as they can.
Yeah, because there's not much going on. There is a castle there, though, but I think with these Cavaliers, he should be able to clean up a lot of his eco, and also the Persian Lake, which is important to note.
When you're in a race to for Paladin numbers and Paladin upgrades, having all your food eco wiped out right as you hit him is not ideal.
Yeah, that is definitely not ideal.
Andy in as well, getting a bunch of snipes on the fish.
Yep, fish eco is gone. This is not looking good at all for Team SITAUX. They don't have map control anywhere. They just got this little cut. Oh, they're gonna try and make something happen in the middle, but there's Cavalier here prepared for the reverse
like a bit of a Hail Mary, but the Halbs are not in position, and they will definitely lose the Onager.
Yep. Oh, I guess they saved it, but
Zagar a little bit late on taking advantage of the situation.
Yep. Really good Paladin numbers from Dogao here. 36. And with a castle, I think he should be completely fine in his own eco, in his own base. And Team Andy setting up the agenda here and setting up the initiative and taking charge of the situation. Jamjak completely out of the game. 30 vills. He's going to have to reboom in the back at minute 32.
It's going to be an interesting one. I'm sure Team SITAUX is going to fight to the bitter end since this is a decider game. Looks like he's trying to get in as best he can, but White Court again with some really great defense.
Really good monk. Yeah, with not monk, sorry.
Walling everywhere. He's got BBC ready to go.
Yep.
Like, he knows what his role is and is executing really well with very low bill numbers.
He's doing his job.
Yeah. Well and truly.
The question is, where does Dogao go from here, right? With his Paladin mass. I think the key is to push into Persian's base and Ethiopians, but...
yeah, it looks like it's going to be 3v3. I think, honestly, what Dogao needs is he needs more stables on the left side.
Hang on a minute. They're doing a reverse cut push here back into SITAUX's base with the Paladin. So he's split up his Paladin numbers into two balls, one on the right and the other on the left. Here we have 17 of them. And we have some on the left side here as well. So he's basically playing both sides with Paladin, which I think is a good idea. And two trebs in from White Court with a BBC. So this might spell trouble for SITAUX because these human Paladin are going to shred any of the Pole Cavalier here. With some siege behind, this could be looking bad for SITAUX
Bulls,
on that
Cavaliers' big advantage is cost efficiency and numbers, but I don't know if you've noticed that SITAUX has been housed for the last few minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Therefore, he's only just now getting above that pop limit, so he does not have the numbers to compete with the human paladin, and it looks like they're going to try and take the best advantage of that as they can. Andy himself looking like in a little bit of trouble, getting his base cleaned up. If he can maintain a good gunpowder mass, though, it doesn't particularly matter as Turks. As long as your allies keep slinging you, you can keep contributing.
Yep. At least he's ahead of Dogao, which is like, you know, who's still on 30 villagers. Wow, what happened? He didn't make a single villager since that time, I guess? Not. In 2 minutes.
Oh, you mean Jamjack? Looks like he ran his eco to start dropping.
Yeah, sorry, Jamjack, not Dogao.
Start dropping TCs in the middle.
Yep.
No one has started trade yet that I can see.
Yeah,
so
but
looks
the
like
Turks
people
has
are gambling on trying to end this quickly.
Yeah, because they again, Turks does have 2 TCs in the Inca's base and taking all of his res there, so Andy doesn't really care about losing his base that much, since he's made a satellite base here. And meanwhile, on the other side, Dogao is into SITAUX's base as well, and that is looking like the beginnings of a GG here, honestly, because they're losing on both fronts. This push has been slowed down completely, and I think it's going to be a 3-1 here for Team Andy. Brutal domination.
Well, definitely still a scary push. Decent numbers from Anatov. Got Ethiopian Halb SO, which is always a threat. It's going to kind of come down to this next minute. If they can wipe everything here completely, or if they lose the crucial siege, they need to keep pushing.
Big shot on the fucking head.
Oh no.
Oh.
Laid flat on their back.
Flat on their fucking back. Holy crap. We do need some Ethiopian help here because SITAUX is not going to be able to hold this human paladin push with the, with all the siege behind. So need Ethiopians to help contribute there as well.
Looks like Chris is preparing a couple little secret cuts on the left there.
Ooh, where? Oh,
over
right
up
here
by the Great Castles.
Yeah.
He's got a secret little hidey hole for.
Yeah, but doesn't have much there.
Yeah, nothing there to defend it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Top's gonna take care of that cut, but yeah, looks like they've stabilized in Andy's base, and
it was a valiant push by Anatov and Boo, but ultimately, they're just too far behind. They don't have the momentum. I think we're going to be coming up on a 3-1 for Team Andy here. Very interesting seeing that they had Dogao and Chris switch roles throughout the set. Dogao sometimes playing Halbaso with the Mongols, sometimes playing Paladin, same with Chris. But has done great follow-up and booms each time and kept up good numbers. Just now adding trade for both teams. Maybe a little late. I think if maybe one team had invested in trade a little bit sooner, they might have more of a distinctive
problem
advantage.
is SITAUX's team doesn't really have a map to trade from. Honestly, like, yeah, they've kept SITAUX's base alive. Like, they're just like they have trade from here.
From SITAUX's base to the corner of Anatov's, I guess, is your best option. Definitely not nearly as distinct and obvious as Team Andy's.
Yeah.
Though the weakness of Team Andy's trade, of course, being that road is right on the front lines, if anyone manages to get through. But looks like SITAUX managed to
push this
get
back
the out of his base.
Yeah, he gets all the cap cleared out of his base, and the problem with riding poles is all your food eco is so exposed all the time. It's not protected. So that's the trade-off you make with the full work. Yes, you get the food bonus, but you're not close to any TCs usually. So the key, I guess, with poles is to make your full works close to your TCs in case you get raided. At least in open maps, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And
Still distinct advantage, double the army numbers for Andy, a good 70 eco unit lead.
Yeah.
Again, White Court, no army whatsoever.
Yeah.
No trade booming. very reminiscent of the Italians game, just with Vietnamese.
Yep. And this we've seen in some other sets too. Like Modri's like full slung his team with an inferior civ, you know, when he was Pole's game, and so we're seeing a lot of late imps playing here, where the one player just, you know, decides to lend population in another way to a stronger powerhouse civ.
All right.
Slavs, I think, will be pretty hard counter here to Ethiopians, especially if they go with the champion Kurzina route, right?
Hard. I don't know if I'd agree with the hard counter, just because BBC are so
BBC
distinctively strong.
Yeah.
Notably, again, Chris very late to getting the actual Siege Onager tech clicked.
Yeah.
Looks like he prioritized mainly Halb and maybe even Druzina.
Yeah. Halb Druzina, because I guess there's not a lot of ranged units, right? So you don't really need SO just yet. It does help, but you don't really need it.
They very solidly have Jean-Jacques' base. Andy's base is reclaimed.
Yeah.
And
Jean-Jacques is at
if we could take a look at
76
where SITAUX is trying to... Oh, I think I see some blue in the middle there. In the trade line, trying to do some raiding with the Pole Cavaliers.
Yeah, but there's a castle here by the Cumans,
house.
And White Court is holding the whole map.
The Great Wall of Vietnam.
The Great Wall of Vietnam, indeed.
Right as SITAUX tries to cut in again with another Onager, that's got to be so frustrating.
So frustrating, indeed. Regardless, even if he did get in, like, there's so many Paladin here. You know, what is he gonna do? This is like a Hail Mary cut, like a desperation cut potentially. And now looks like SITAUX's team is out of gold, and there's a cut on this side here by Slavs onto their trade line, and this might be the GG cut right here.
I think so. Ultimately, only player on SITAUX's team with trade right now is Anatov, with 23 as the Paladin player at minute 46. It's just not going to be enough.
Not going to be enough.
Meanwhile,
plus, and his trade is completely under danger, so they don't even have a safe trade line at all. So this is starting to look like the beginnings of GG. They've pushed it back in the middle. They've pushed it back on the right. They've pushed back in the left side. I think this is the GG cut right here.
Yeah. Now, without Anatov's space, SITAUX team has no map and nowhere to trade.
Exactly. Precisely. So this middle push is also getting pushed back. All fronts, we are looking very weak.
I think it's a matter of time now. Must be a very frustrating set for Team SITAUX. I think they would have to look at the Civ draft again, but they might need to have gone for a more all-in Civ situation here to be in the decider game on game 4 and not still beat a stiff deficit. It must be a very frustrating situation to be in.
You know, despite the first loss, Andy's team came back strong here to win the set here, so we do have a 3-1 situation, and we're joined here by Andy now to do our post-game interview. Hello, Andy. Are you here?
Oh, hello, I'm here.
Hello. 3-1 on Team SITAUX. Very good job on your performance by your team. So
thank you.
Yes, let's walk us through the games. Game number 1, man, they got really messy and put you on the back foot very early on, right?
Yeah, kind of hard to play. Kind of open map with forward res against Lithuanians. Like, not sure how I perfectly defend there, but the hard one. But my team recovered pretty well. I think we could have won that game. Maybe if I snapped the monks earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I think in terms of how the Chaos picks worked out, you guys got very lucky. Lithuanians and Poles both played by SITAUX were unable to get in to do much damage. Meanwhile, with your Berber game, you nearly single-handedly won it with slowing everyone down, docking multiple lakes, and winning.
But that was not because they were doing it bad. I think we just played it perfectly. Like, we had Vietnamese against Poles, I think, and like we shouted at the other side, or we knew like they had Poles in the draft. If they have Poles, we instantly wall, even if it's a bad wall. Same against Lithuanians.
You did very well. Not letting the other team capitalize on those civs.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for
maybe
sure.
Whitecourt and me took some damage, but at least we kept our pocket safe. So,
Yeah.
which was pretty
That
useful,
was
I guess.
game 2, right? Rubber game, or was that game 3? I think that was game 3.
That was game 3.
That was game 3. Game 2, remind me again. So we had the power civ combo, the Japanese and Mongol game. Yeah, that was very, very good. I think you guys got eventually to your late game comp. You denied the monk mango push here by Jamjack into your base with the fortified wall play, I believe.
Yeah, but that was kind of late. I expected an earlier push. I think he should have done it against Japanese fish.
Yeah,
Big shout out to Whitecourt for the classic annoying flank wall play.
He did
this
a good
whole
job.
Set.
Yeah.
Each game making sure that the map was completely stuffed with walls.
Yeah, and he was.
I mean, I think it's fine against SITAUX, and he had the worst civ there, right? Against Portuguese.
Yep. Absolutely, he did a great job.
Well, yeah, but
it
still,
was not the original plan. Like,
yeah, but walling well is a good skill to have, and the fact that he was able to slow down and shut down SITAUX completely, even with the Portuguese castle drop, and also in game number 4 here with the Poles castle drop and the Cavaliers, I think he did a good job for your team to wall out the captain.
Yeah,
very strong performance. And then finally, game 4 here. I mean, not much more else to say other than the fact that your castle drop was into palisade walls. I don't think that Jamjack, you should have had a stone wall up at least to try and stop you. But you just kind of steamrolled in very easily.
That's the same what Memp just wrote me. Like,
yeah,
that was Titanic, but I think a stone wall in fuel doesn't help against the castle drop. Like,
No.
I took 1 petard, he can't back wall there on the side. It's impossible. Maybe he loses 2 wills less, but that doesn't matter at that point, I guess.
Yeah. And then I like the fact that Chris had a Mangonel to help you out here with the archers and the towers to push you off a little bit, you know, because I think the tower play was to try and stop the castle drop on this flank. But I just wish, again, he had bought a little bit of time potentially even with the stone wall. But I think you did well to
maybe
go up fast.
Maybe their pocket had to do Mangonels as well.
Exactly. So what I was thinking was if Anotov had a Mangonel on the other side behind his stone walls, that may have actually slowed your push down a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of an interesting play, but